3 hours east of the Rockies.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And you're live, guys.
Thank you, Asha.
I'm sorry. Say again.
You are now live on air.
Oh, oh God.
So welcome everyone to tonight's FBS Chat. So our guest tonight is James Vanneear, all the way from Edmonton, but not Edmonton as we know it in London, Edmonton, Alberta in Canada. And my co-host is the lovely Anne Rambo, who is in hopefully sunny Florida. Is it sunny there?
Always sunny Florida, yes.
Always sunny in Florida. Excellent. So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate your time. So James, I normally like to begin with knowing a bit more about how you came across solution focused, sort of what you were doing at a time and how it changed. Well,
as a matter of fact, I was, when I was working at Veterans Affairs Canada, I was, a colleague of mine was taking a course in solution-focused therapy, and I thought, okay, this is just another one of the 450 or 500 different bloody techniques that that probably won't go anywhere. But then she showed me the book Interviewing for Solutions by Insoo Berg and Peter Dejong, and so I figured, okay, well, maybe I'll order it and I'll see what it's all about. So anyway, I got the book, I read the book, and then I started, and then I found that Insoo had an email address. That was a bad thing for her to do, get her email address, because I would be emailing her or I would be faxing her about, what about this client? What about that client? What about? And she was always gracious, always gracious. She'd like I expected that, like I send out these emails or faxes and I'd get a response in maybe a week or two. No, she responded within about 2 hours with every question I ever had. So, but, so I started doing a little bit more research, a little bit more reading, a little bit more this, that, and the other. And I finally decided, this is maybe something that might actually work. So that's how I got started.
What is Veteran Affairs, James? Just for the
Veterans Affairs Canada. We worked. Well, I worked with both Second World War vets and Korean War vets and Gulf people who served in Afghanistan, and so like anybody who was injured, had any kind of injury, whether it was a physical injury or or a trauma-induced injury, and basically it's a matter of people would put in for a disability pension, and and then the powers that be would decide when it whether or not they were going to grant that pension. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you an interesting story. A buddy of mine, he'd actually served in Somalia. Now, probably everybody on Earth knows about what happened in Somalia. and I really don't want to go into that. But anyway, so anyway, after the airborne regiment was disbanded, he came back. He came to Edmonton, and he was a recruiter down in the Canadian Forces recruitment office. And we'd often have coffee, and he'd tell me all sorts of things that were going on for him. And I said, well, sounds like maybe you should put in for a disability pension. And I said, that's pretty easy to do. And so he decided, yeah, maybe I will. And so he went through the process, and they granted him, because of his trauma injury, the Canadian government granted him a pension of 5%. And like, this is on a scale of maximum of at that time close to about $1,400 a month, tax free. But anyway, he said they get, woo woo woo, they granted me 5%. I said, yeah. He said, isn't that great? I said, no, it's not. On a good day, you're 50% if you're anything, because he was really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, well, no, I'm happy. I said, well, no, you can appeal that decision. So he finally appealed that decision, after much cajoling. So anyway, he, and they said, oh yeah, they gave me 10%.
No.
Come on. I see. So anyway, he finally appealed, got it at 50%, and then they finally granted him a full pension, 100% pension, with an attendance allowance and an exceptional incapacity award, which was, to my mind, long bloody well overdue. So he was getting a very, let's just say he's getting a very substantial amount of money, which he deserves. But anyway, so anyway, that's what we would do. We'd also look after the RCMP as well, and anybody who was injured or killed on duty. We'd look after their widows or their survivors, and look after them as well, in case there was a substantial injury, any kind of an injury. So, but yeah, so that's what I used to do. So do you want to talk about what I do now?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in what you do now.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've been doing this work since. Just let me shut down my my email. It's just bothering me.
While you're shutting down your email, can I make a comment?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love hearing about your relationship with Insoo and how you went back and forth. Insoo used to visit us a lot in Florida. And at the last conference I was at, I was talking with some of the brief people, and they had such a relationship with Steve DeShazer. And they were saying how many hours they spent talking about Wittgenstein, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, and philosophy. And it just made me, while they were a team and their ideas were similar, their emphasis was different. I don't remember talking about Wittgenstein with Insoo, but we talked a lot about social justice and access. On the ground. And I love that story about how you helped that guy get more money, because that's like a real Insoo story. She would have loved that.
Well, yeah, yeah. The thing is, yeah, she, and the thing is, like, I mean, that's one of the things that actually got me inspired to, to use solution focus because, because I would talk with my friend, and he'd say, "Oh yeah, no, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with 5%.
Yeah.
Besides I volunteered, or you know, yeah. So what? You volunteered, but the thing is, when you signed up, you dummy, you signed up
You didn't
to,
sign up for what happened in Somalia, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You
Yeah.
signed up to, so that you knew that the federal government was going to look after you if you were injured. Ugh. But anyway. So anyway, to the stuff that I'm doing now. Um, Back in well, actually, I shouldn't say January of 2011, but probably October of 2010. One of my former master students, instructors, approached me and asked me if I would like to do some volunteer work. And so she told me about, what her plans were. And then she said, "I'm planning on doing an anti-human trafficking crisis line."
Wow.
Oh, really? Tell me more. Tell me more. So, so she went on and she explained further as to what she wanted to do. And so I said, where do I get all the information that I can to read up on human trafficking? And she sent me all these articles, and she said, our service is going live January 1st, 2011. So I need you to know this stuff cold and be ready to take calls. And at that time, we had 28 time slots for the week. Everybody was given one 6-hour shift.
Wow.
And so, so we started going live, on January 1st, 2011. And then, we started taking all sorts of kind of weird and wonderful calls. Um, and, like we got calls from, well, actually, it first started off, we figured that it was just going to be for Canada. So somehow or other, the National Human Trafficking Resource Center in Washington, D.C., also known as the Polaris Project, got a hold of our number. And they called me one day, and they called me one day because that was my shift. And they said, does this line work in the States? And I said, well, no, not that I know of, but where are you calling from? I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess it does work in the States. So, and so we started getting all sorts of calls. We figured it was just going to be across Canada, but nope. It was, I've received calls from New York City, Florida, Texas, Washington State, California. In fact, when I was getting ready to do this, I got a call from the answering service, and it was one of the clients that I've been working with, and so I told them, well, look, I can, if she can wait for another hour, I'll call her back, because this is one of my regular callers.
Mm-hmm.
And but but there's one story I want to tell you, and it's really difficult.
Mm.
I still have this client. She started calling me when she was 17. And, this was like 2 o'clock in the morning that she was calling me. And so we started talking, and she said, well, yeah, I'm still involved with being trafficked. And so she said, well, is there anything you can do to help me? And I said, well, let's see what sort of situation you're in, and tell me a little bit more. And that's when the story just broke. She said her father sold her to a pimp when she was 5 years old. And she had been pimped from the age of 5 to the time that she called me. And my heart just broke. And the thing is, I still talk to her from time to time. She's 23 now. But here's the interesting story. Here's the really interesting part of the story. When she was 17, she was in high school. She carried an 88% average. She had 7 universities offering her scholarships, either academic or athletic. And I just said, how did you do that? In my best, inquisitive, solution-focused voice. And she just said, there wasn't anything to it. I had to keep my focus on something other than, on me being trafficked. And just amazing. So anyway, she did take one of the scholarships, and she went out west, and then whatever happened, she got addicted to drugs, and she she kind of dropped out of sight for a while, and I lost contact with her for probably about 6 months. And finally, she calls me out of the blue this one time. And I was just like, oh my God, it's you. How are you? Are you all right? Is everything, how is everything going for you? And she's had her struggles with drug addiction and so forth, but she's come back and she's working now. And so, it's not the perfect story I wanted, but it was a damn good one. She's doing okay. So.
I read something you wrote online about that same story, and you were saying that was why you hated people talking about that clients were broken.
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted
yes.
you to say that was beautiful.
I've got a real bug about that.
Yeah.
We are never broken. We're not Humpty Dumptys. We are people. We have resiliencies. We can come back from whatever bad stuff has happened to us in our lives. And if we don't, if you want to sit and you want to say, oh, I'm so broken, I don't want, I can't do anything. Well, yeah, you've basically written your script. That's how you're going to live the rest of your life. But if you want to say, I can get out of this, maybe I need help. Doesn't matter. But if they're, if they say I need help, and this is where I need to go to get it, then fine. And oftentimes they come back much stronger. But the thing is, when people say that they're broken, I just want to scream, So, but anyway. So anyway, yeah. You were going to ask something else, Ann.
That reminded me of what you'd written online, so I wanted to hear about that.
Okay.
I'm interested in the mechanics of how the hotline works. It sounds like you can have a relationship with people over years that they.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the thing is, like, what happens is a person calls in to the crisis line,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll give you that crisis line number. It's 1-866-528-7109. Did you get that?
I did.
No? No? You want me to give it again? Okay, 1-866-528-7109. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I never sleep.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, the thing is, like, when we first started out, we had 28 slots, 28 shifts, 6 hours each, and we had all those slots filled. And now, not so much. Like I've been getting people calling, they want to do some volunteer work, and the fact is, I need them to have the experience, like at least have a master's, or at least working towards a master's degree, and know how to deal with trauma.
I imagine. Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, that's left me with a lot of hours to work. So, I mean, they don't pay me scads of money, but I mean, we're all we're all kind of scrambling for money right now, but oh well, that's the way life goes. But I also wanted to tell you about another person that I've been speaking with, and that's probably been 8 or 9 years. A mother who lives down in the States. Her daughter was trafficked, and she was calling me to kind of help get assistance for her daughter. Anyway, somehow or other, the daughter finally got out of being trafficked, and she's dealing with bipolar disorder, and but she's managing it reasonably well. So yeah, but the thing is, like, the mother calls me pretty much once a week, just to kind of update me as to how she herself is doing, and kind of throwing in some stuff about how the daughter is doing. And so it's always kind of nice to hear how this lady is doing well. And yeah. So, and we used to have a like another crisis line. It was called the operational stress injury crisis line. And the thing is, like, that word stress is not one of my favorite words, because it doesn't really, but that's another story. But the thing that amazes me is that people talk about stress as being a bad thing. In actual fact, it's not. Stress, we all need stress. That thing that's beating in your chest right now, it's under stress. If it's not under stress, you are in a world of crap. And I mean that literally. You are in a world of crap. Because the thing is, if you ever get the chance, read a book by Hans Selye. Selye. He's a Canadian. He was a Canadian endocrinologist. And he actually termed the word stress in his research. And he divided it between eustress, EU stress, and distress. Eustress is good. It's basically what keeps us alive. And distress, well, yeah, it can be problematic. Like we all have distressing situations. And so, but if you ever get the chance, read some of his books. Stress Without Distress, and The Stress of Life. I don't know if the books are still in print. I hope they are, because they're excellent books. But anyway, sorry I got off on a tangent there.
We love stories, James. Absolutely
okay.
love them.
Okay. Okay.
I was so I heard your story about this person that was sold at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Trafficked when she was 17. And I was just wondering, and she came back to you and started to speak to you again at 23.
Well, it was maybe about 19 or 20 when she started talking to me again. She's about 23 right now.
Yeah. I'm just curious, because often a criticism of the solution-focused approach is very on the surface. It can only deal with simple kind of problems. But the stuff you're dealing with it's almost too horrendous to even imagine.
Well, yeah, it is. But again, we deal with resilience. And that's the important thing. When we deal with resilience, the person finds the strengths within themselves to carry on. And even though this person has literally probably gone through one of the worst life experiences that anybody could ever imagine, even in their worst night terrors, this lady has actually done well. She calls me every week or every couple of weeks and tells me what's been going on for her. And so it's it's really quite amazing. But again, like another side of this job is that often I only have like maybe 5-10 minutes. And the thing is, even some people, in fact, I've had this happen so many times. They've called into the answering service and I answered. Next thing I hear, I can't talk to a man. Click.
Mhm.
And I mean, this, in fact, I remember this happening with, with one young lady. She phones me, and she'd phone me every, every time she phoned, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
I'm trying to get some sleep here, lady. What are you doing? You're screwing up my sleep cycle. But anyway, she called me at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, I can't talk to a man. Click. And this would go on. This went on for a couple of weeks. And finally, I like I figured I better talk to my boss. So I phoned my boss. Very, very nice psychologist. Her name is Jackie Linder. And so anyway, she, I told her what was going on, and I said, listen, I've got an idea. I'm going to ask this lady to talk to me for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, no more. And Jackie said, yeah, that sounds great. Do it. So anyway, so I'm waiting for this call, and I figured, okay, I've got this. I know exactly what's going on. Yep, got it. So the answering service says, hello, James, we've got so-and-so on the line. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, put her through. I'm ready to say, can you talk to me for 2 minutes? 2.5 hours later,
Wow.
she told me her whole story. And at the end of it, she said, James, you want to know something? I said, yeah, what? You're really cool. And I thought, well, yeah, and at that time I was, I told her, well, yeah, okay, well, it's only taken me 63 years to be cool. So, but
Oh.
but the thing is, I can mean a lot of the calls are absolute crisis intervention, like somebody needs resources now. I don't have, and at that time, I don't have the luxury of doing solution focus. I've got to, have the resources for them.
Right.
Tell them here's where here's where you go, here's who you call, and and you should be fine. If there's any other problems, get back to me. Tell me what if there's anything else that you need. So, but yeah, the thing is, and with some of the women who've been trafficked, they they absolutely are are absolutely terrified of the police. They figure they're going to get arrested, or something's going to happen to them, and like I keep telling them, look, your safest bet is to call 911. Get the police there. Get yourself safe. Or call the local police service or police department, whatever, and ask for the human trafficking unit. And they just absolutely refuse, to do that. But I've talked with a number of detectives and sergeants from various human trafficking units, and they're always asking me for some information, like are you available to do this? Are you available to do that? Yeah, sure, yeah, sure. So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Can I?
So you do.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No.
So you do basic like here's how to call 911, all the way to if you want to talk about your story, you cover the whole gamut, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you bet. You bet. You know, in fact, you know, like I said, I'll do, you know, if somebody wants to talk, I'll let them talk, you know. And the thing is, like with that operational stress injury line, you know, that we had, it went, you know, we were dealing with, we had set that up for first responders, police, fire, EMTs. And I only got one call from one person. Well, you know, like I got one person calling regularly. And often, and the thing that amazed me, because first responders are so by the book, suck it up and carry on bullshit. They, you know, they let the traumas fester until such a point that you know, they either, you know, do something very, very harmful to themselves, or, you know, they totally shut down. You know, and the thing is, like with this one caller that I've got, she's calling, you know, she's calling me from another province, and you know, like I've often, well, like first of all, you know, like I started off the conversations asking her, you know, how are you feeling right now? I don't know. You know, and like this went on for quite a while. I don't know how I'm feeling, because they get so divorced from their own feelings that they can't accept the fact that they're human beings with, you know, with all the baggage we all carry, right? So, but for the, you know, and for the longest time, you know, like I had a couple of calls where I literally had to call 911 from my place to, you know, to the call center and have them route the 911 call through to the province and the city where she was living, because she was in a very rough state and she was going to harm herself. And I've had to do that 3 times with this young lady, but not anymore, thank God. You know, because that's nerve-wracking, because I don't, you know, and the thing, you know, the thing the thing that, you know, that I realized, and I've realized since doing, you know, started doing crisis intervention way back in '73, that the caller has the control. They don't like what you say, click, you've got, and you're left with nothing, you know. And the fact is that, you know, the thing is, you know, you don't have, well, like with this thing right now, I've got all sorts of visual cues from you folks. You know, you're interested, you're bored, you're, you know, whatever. Not that I'm saying anybody's bored, but you know, but the thing is, with a phone, you've just got the voice,
Right.
and that's all you got. And that's, you know, and the thing is, like, if the voice changes in any way, shape, or form, I've got to be able to adjust and take it down the road that, you know, that would be most helpful for this person. So, but, so yeah.
I was going to ask James about the resilience. You mentioned it earlier, and I just wondered, because me and Aisha always say this is like, it's like the golden chalice, because, you know, if we can make our clients more empowered, more resilient to overcome those obstacles. What a great job, because we don't want to, we want to be out of their lives as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there something about the solution-focused approach that you feel fits with that building of resilience? Is it the questions? Is it the connection with the people, the person that's helping you? Because I know yours is over the phone, so kind of yours may be more of a question thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, exactly. And the thing is, like, the thing is, like, I mean, all I do is give them the tools to find their own resilience, but it's on them. It's all their work. And I just kind of stand back and sit in amazement and think, wow, how did that happen? Jeez, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
But so.
And they can take ownership of any positive outcomes or positive movement, I suppose, which is again very empowering.
Yeah, because it's their work. It's it's them doing the work. All I'm doing is saying, hey, what about this? What about that? What about something else?
Wow.
So
I think Mark has a question. Can you put it up, or do I have to, because it's long? Here, can you see that, James?
Yeah, sometimes the voices is the best way to have is you just listen and try not to interpret. Just ask constructive questions. Exactly. That's right, Mark. Yeah. The thing is, like, all I'm gonna do is just ask questions that help them to get the next rung up the ladder, so to speak. So that they can kind of take what's the word I'm looking for? So that they can take ownership of their lives, and so that they can kind of do whatever they need to do to to make their lives better. Did that hopefully that answered your question, Mark?
I was just wondering, James, when obviously sometimes you may get a call to the crisis line and you may never hear back from them again. Do you ever wonder, wow, I hope what's happened to this guy? Because we see families week in, week out often, because they will come back. But
and the thing is, like, the thing is, I don't want to sound callous, but the thing is, I can't be dwelling on that stuff. Otherwise, it's going to drive me nuts. Because some of the situations that they've been through are, as with that young girl, are so horrendous that, if I don't hear back from them, like, I might think, geez, I wonder how so-and-so is doing. But that's about all. I'm not gonna be getting tied up in knots about it. I'm just gonna say, I sure hope they're doing better. So.
Yeah. Well.
James, sorry, go on, Anne.
That was a question that was in my mind listening to you talk. If you're getting waked up at 2:00 in the morning, you're hearing these horrendous stories. Sometimes you hear back from the people. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to call 911 on them, and you don't know whatever happened.
Yeah.
How do you foster your own resilience? Because that's a lot to deal with.
Well, the thing is, I guess at my age, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to do the best that I can with what I have on, at hand. I can't do anything more. I mean, if I were, say, a Milton Erickson, I might have some brilliant insights, but I'm just James Vanneear. I just do what I can. And then after that, I can't do anything else.
That's all any of us can do. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Definitely.
very nice person wrote this on social media platform. You are wonderful. I don't know if they were talking about you or me, James, but
Probably you.
it can't be because I wrote it
Oh,
about you. About you.
well,
I mean, everything that I've listened to so far, and I've been intently listening, is really extraordinary what you're doing. Absolutely fantastic. I want to know a little bit about you now.
okay.
And what makes you tick? Your sparkling moments. What are you up to? What are your best hopes?
What are my best hopes? Well, in fact, I'll tell you something. When I get when I get up in the morning, I think, what's going to happen? It's not like, oh, what's going to happen? It's like, what's going to happen? I want to look around and, oh, geez, I got some reading I got to do. Okay, got to do that. And, I got to meet some people. Oh, terrific. Great. Terrific. And that's the thing that, that really makes me, feel alive.
Mm.
Is that I'm, granted I can only do what I can do, but I sure as hell I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it when I'm doing it.
I love that.
So,
Yeah. What a lovely way to, because it sounds like you don't wake up any morning dreading the day. It sounds like you're looking
oh my
forward
God,
to
no.
Joe wakes up every morning and dreads his day because he's going to meet me at work.
No, far from it.
Oh, I've got to put up with her again.
So, I think Mark has another question.
Oh, Mark,
Yeah.
what do you want?
We love Mark. I did some after-hours service within our youth care, which often was about crisis situations.
Mhm.
Even if I would not work directly, think of it like that. But it is not our ideas about that, or is it? Hold on. Even if I would not directly think of it like that, but it was not our ideas about it, or is it? So yes,
Okay.
questions about what they want instead, and then work on that might have some similar looking activities, James.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, like, and in fact, like, when somebody calls and says, I'm just having a bad day. So I ask them, okay, so if things were just going a little bit better, not a lot, just a little bit, what would you notice?
Mm.
What would you notice happening? Like, I'm not looking for anything like this. I'm just looking for something like this.
Mm.
And it's just just kind of take it from there. And if you can kind of add little bits further on, all the better. So
So what's I mean, you sound extremely content in the work that you're doing at the moment, James. Is there anything that you might have in the pipeline that you're looking forward to, or is it?
We won't tell anyone. We won't.
Yeah,
tell
yeah, we won't tell
yeah,
no
okay.
one.
Well, yeah, well, the thing is,
Anne might.
like right now, the crisis line is needing some infusion of money, but I think we're going to be getting some of that shortly. So so that'll be okay. But but I remember reading something on Facebook, and This lady was 101 years old, and she was still doing psychotherapy.
Wow.
Could you imagine, like every day waking up and going into work and thinking, what sort of things are going to happen today? With the anticipation that I'm going to do some good work today.
Mm.
So, but at 101, man, I'm only 71. Jesus, I've got a long way to go. But
So you, just looking forward to more years of what you're already doing.
oh yeah. But and the thing is, like, there's a group that actually is helping fund us. They're called the Center to End the Center to End All Sexual Exploitation.
Wow.
And the director there is a lady by the name of Kate Quinn. And
We love Kate Quinn.
She is just terrific.
Yeah. We need them to give you money.
Indeed. Indeed.
Funding. Kate, if you're listening, fund.
Kate, please.
Please, we love you, Kate.
So, but but the thing, the thing is, like, I mean, I've been a social worker for 43 years. And this is probably about the best job I've ever had. They pay me, they don't pay me scads of money, but it's the most enjoyable job I've ever had.
Wow.
So.
And it really comes across, James.
No, really?
Your enthusiasm, your passion for it. Yeah. You've been a social worker longer than Aisha's been alive. No, don't want to make you feel old.
Yeah, thanks a
I'm
lot,
not far
pal.
behind you.
Yeah,
thanks a lot. I really needed that.
Yeah, I'm 40 now, James.
Okay. So
yeah.
I was doing work a couple of years earlier than that,
So sorry, go on.
No,
I was just going to ask James if there's any papers he's written or any books in the pipeline, to share your wonderful knowledge.
Well, the thing is, sorry, I'm not, I'm not that much of a writer, but as I was saying earlier, I helped edit a book, and that's by my good friend Sean Foy over in Ireland, and he wrote a book called Solution Focused Harm Reduction. And that is an excellent book, because I have seen, because the thing is, like, with a lot of people, I've seen, them just get into a lot of self-harm, and this book is really, really helpful. So, I mean, I haven't put pen to paper, but I've, been able to kind of cross out a few things on Sean's book and add a few things in there as well. So, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. Sorry, probably won't do any writing, but but I certainly do love reading. And the thing is, like, I mean, as I mentioned earlier before we actually started, like, I subscribe to the Journal of Human Trafficking, and that one is pretty thick. I swear it gets thicker every damn year. Last year it was like 372 pages, and this one, 457. This edition.
Wow.
That's this year's edition. Well, actually, 2020's edition.
Have you read it yet? Have you read all of it yet? Is it? You can summarize it for me.
Well, okay. First of all, let me like it's a series of articles.
Yeah.
It's not, like they deal with the definition of what human trafficking is. They talk about strategies to fight human trafficking. Let's see what else. Migration issues and human trafficking. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, they get the idea that that human trafficking, like, all of the victims are coming from elsewhere, like outside the country.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They're happening right down the street. It's happening maybe even right next door, and that's the tough part of it. And I guess the thing that keeps me going is if I can just find, if I can just help one more person just a little bit, then my day's been a good day.
Wow.
So
Brilliant.
You're so
Love it.
inspiring.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, I just set small goals. I don't want to, like, I'd like to change the world, but not likely.
Anne,
one step at a time.
any last questions for James, Anne, or comments, or?
I feel very inspired also. I love what you said about just that all you can do is the best you can do, and just that you've been able to do that under those difficult circumstances for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
That I was just thinking that I would love to interview you and turn that into an article. So we will talk.
Well, yeah.
Ooh.
So, the thing is, do you have my email address?
I'll get it from you from Facebook. You don't have to share it with the whole world.
I can share it with you, Anne.
Okay. Yes. Like that. Yeah,
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay. So, anytime that I can be of, is talking my, okay. Thanks, Owen.
That's so in. We've got quite a few little fans here. Emily Randall, so inspiring.
Wow. She's I'm almost looking around, like I'm almost ready to look around and think, who the hell are they talking about?
Who's this James Vanneear they're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. But it's the time that the people say, "Oh, Mr. Vanneear." And I look around and say, "Oh, wait a minute, no, my dad's dead. I'm sorry, but oh, you're looking at me."
Oh, do you know what? I'm actually really, really happy that Louisa, I'm going to put you on the spot. Louisa Bayat, very inspiring, she says. She's one of my ex-students.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I'm glad you've been watching, Louisa.
Yeah, we're taking notes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot again. Mark has a last question for you. What is your favorite sport, James, and how has that helped you, James?
Oh, well, actually, I'm not a sports person, but I love watching Formula One. I love watching Formula One. But yeah, so yeah.
If you ever get into soccer, James, you need to support Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, I'm just telling you from now. Let's not get it wrong.
And if David Haynes is listening, take note. From Australia. If the Aussies are listening. Right. Any last comments?
This has been so amazing, James. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
I don't know who I'm speaking to until it comes up on the calendar, and every time I'm absolutely bowled over. This is amazing. Thank you so much for spending this time, and Anne, thank you so much again.
And my pleasure
for coming on. It's been
thank
absolutely
you all.
Amazing.
Thank you all very much. can I just say one last thing? It's kind of a sad thing, but I recently, in fact, yesterday, well, actually this morning, I picked up the mail and I got the latest edition of the Psychotherapy Networker, and it said that, you know, like I known that Rich Simon had passed away, but the thing is, I didn't know about his struggles
Mm.
with bipolar, and I remember, in fact, all the issues that I have of the Psychotherapy Networker, I still hold on to. If you ever, if I ever move the camera around, you'd be thinking this guy's this guy's mad because he's got all these goddamn books and and magazines, and he never gives anything away. But the thing that I want to say is that even though I never met Rich, every time I got an edition of the Psychotherapy Networker, I was just eager to get it, because I was thinking, what am I going to learn today?
Mm.
What's he going to teach me? So so if anybody out there knows Rich's family, please pass on my condolences to them. I'm really sad to hear that about Rich's struggles with bipolar. So anyway, hate to end it on a sad note, but
No.
Mm.
I'm glad you had the opportunity to say that.
thank you.
Yeah. And I think you're brilliant, and I'm totally in awe of your work.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
oh, okay.
James Vanneear, not Mr.
your
James
work.
Vanneear.
I love your humor. I love your passion. You're so inspiring, and you do it without even realizing, and that's the
Oh.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate hearing that.
And it's been an absolute pleasure again having Anne Rambo join us. We love Anne.
Mhm. Yep.
She's also very inspiring, and Anne could say anything. We'd just say, "Yeah, you're right. It's true. It's true." She could
It
be
was
telling us.
such a pleasure to get to come on today. I'm such an admirer of James's work, so it was great to hear more about it.
So Anne, you're really on the spot here. It doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter what you say. They're gonna say that, that you're absolutely top notch. So
She is.
We're trying to pretend they actually remember me, right? They didn't just.
She is top notch. I'm telling you. I have. While you guys were having a chat, I did send you both an email, exchanging your email addresses.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
okay.
that.
Yeah.
I'm a good
And,
admin person. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and what I'll do is I'll send you my phone number, so in that email, so so if you want to actually talk to me again,
I do, and I promise I will not call you at 2 a.m. But I will.
Oh, thank you.
Let you sleep for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
3 or
wow.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Get you a little more into the deep sleep plateau, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we've come to another end of a FBS chat, guys. Thank you so much for watching and your fantastic comments. And next week we have on Tuesday Christina Mull, who we absolutely love, and Marcos Perez, and we have 2 fantastic co-hosts joining us then as well. So do join in next Tuesday and Thursday, and all the details will be out on Facebook in a few days. James, again, thank you. You're fantastic, and it's so lovely to meet you and not just follow you on Facebook. And hold on, I've got to put this up. Have a lovely day. Well done, Louisa, for being so polite. I'll raise you very well.
Thank you,
You are.
Louisa.
I absolutely love Louisa.
Yeah, thank you, Louisa. I will do that.
Yeah, make sure you do. Can I ask you guys to just stay there for a couple of minutes so we can say personal goodbye? And
Yeah.
to everybody else, we will see you next week. Take care.